What's up, everybody? This is NFT Culture. I'm John. I'm here with my partner, Mal. Mal, what's up?
What's good, John? How's it going?
I'll tell you what's good, man. Nike. How'd you know?
The Nikes,
Yeah, you
the
called it, brother.
the Swoosh brand. I had pretty good intel. I was I was trying to decide if I should even brought it up or not. But I mean, this was it'll probably come out in the next couple days. Like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but like there were pretty substantiated rumors about this. Even at Art Basel, like and I wasn't even at Art Basel, but like I had heard it. My only issue with not kind of being more aggressive with it was really about like it was solid rumors. It was people you trust, but it was one of those things like there's still a little bit of risk in it. But for anyone who's wondering, like you can click the link in the description on the YouTube, and you can go back and watch either the full video from our last NFT Culture Happy Hour, or we clipped it out where we talked about it on December 10th, basically that Nike was going to buy Artifact, and it makes sense. It's crazy just to think about like what this means.
Mal, I feel like you've exercised the Yeti demons. Now, when people go into the archives, they actually have a win call on there too.
This. I think this makes up for my Yeti call. And I don't want to give this project the kiss of death, but like, when you think about I and the team were chatting about this a little bit before, like when you think about the generational impact of NFTs, right? CryptoPunks, and being the first PFP are always going to have that historical significance.
Mm-hmm.
Apes are going to have that significance because it was kind of that wild ride coming into the mainstream,
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of stuff. And like really bringing NFTs and in like riding in that journey. But like this right now, this Nike announcement is like we're not as early anymore, and I keep saying that. But like the implications of the biggest fashion, apparel company in the world acquiring this, and you think about these essentially being the first piece of that history, and you think about professional athletes that may have the swoosh deal, very quickly it's going to be interesting. And the other thing that it does, and this is going to be really crazy, is like, can Nike now say that like if you have a sneaker deal with us, you can't have an ape as your PFP? So
Mm-hmm.
think about like the implications that are going to start coming now, where
Mm-hmm.
NFTs are now going to be a part of all of these apparel contracts for all of these athletes moving forward.
I mean, it's wild. I mean, and then you take it a step further. What if everybody that has this PFP now gets discounts on Nike gear? I mean, it's like, wow, you got 20,000 captive audience to buy your stuff now. This is next level stuff. I mean, the Punks was awesome because it was crypto native, it was organic. This is complete mainstream, biggest global apparel brand. I don't know, man. But we have a partner that didn't join us on stream that was doing a little bit of fun off stream. But I think this is. We always talk about what could be the next apes, and I'm thinking it's got a chance. It's got a chance.
Yeah, we're not, it's just, we're at this point now. And with the market kind of doing what it was doing today, and like,
Mm-hmm.
everything else, you're just like, ugh. And then this happens. And then just like the floor immediately, it goes from 2.5 to 6, and
Yeah.
like that. And then, I had mine listed at 5.9. And so,
Yeah.
so I'm sitting there like, not, I'm chopping the video, I'm doing the press release to get it all out there,
Mm-hmm.
which I should have done like already, knowing that this is probably going to happen. But so then like my wife gets home, and I'm out there talking, and I was like, oh crap, mine's still listed.
Yeah.
I run back, and I delisted just in time.
Dude, it's crazy because the Demon's floor is now basically 9 ETH. You just got that off just in time.
I think within like 5 minutes I had gotten it off. It's crazy, and it's just crazy to think about. I can't wait to share a lot, when everyone talks about kind of the future of NFTs, like
Mm-hmm.
you and Rob had a great conversation today. I won't leak that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about some of the top musicians of a generation that are entering the space, you think about top traditional artists that are entering this space, and you think about everything else, it's like incredibly exciting to just be like, to know we're early. Like, it's one thing to, like, it's like that, it's a stupid quote from like The Office, like, you know um everyone misses the good old days, but you wish that like you knew it was the good old days while you were there. But it's like, this is like a unique time in history where it's like we know what's going on and we get to enjoy it, and it's not like looking back and saying like, oh man, I wish I had not taken it for granted when it was there. It's like there's that hint of it, and to see new people come into the space, it's just breathtaking.
Yeah, can we just stop and pause and think about Nike just bought a, I don't know, a digital PFP company? I mean, I know they're much more than that.
They're
I know
much more
Artifact
than
is
that.
much bigger than that. I get that. But I mean, this is kind of like, this was the proof in the pudding that Nike needed to be like, all right, now we're gonna pick this company up. I mean, now Nike's name is attached to this PFP. I mean, and they're like, this is huge marketing. Nike, the brand Nike is a marketing company. And so you do think that Nike's going to let this thing fail? No way. It just got tons of resources pushed behind it. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to
The
say
only thing
sniff
is
grapes, but
how
but
much do you think it was?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, you mean for the pickup? How much they bought it for?
Yeah,
Oh,
2 billion at least.
I don't know, man. How much did the sale go? I mean, what was the total revenue on the sale? Had to
So
be.
so far, both the well, I didn't even talk about the primary. Secondary sales
Mhm.
alone has been over 128 million dollars in secondary volume. Granted, they only get, I think, 10% of that, right?
Mhm.
So that's still 12.8 million. And the primary sale, let's say the floor of the 20,000, let's say they all sold at the floor, which we know didn't happen.
Mhm.
That's 40,000 ETH. So that's 160 million, right?
Yeah.
Now you think about their other drops that they've done. So let's say they've done, 200 million in revenue over the last year. And when you think about high tech, is it a 10x multiplier? Is it a 20x multiplier? At 10x multiplier, 200 million in revenue in a year, that it would probably not crazy. It's not an operationally expensive project. 200 million. You think, yeah, 10x sounds easy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is $4 or $5 billion. Like maybe
Unbelievable.
10 billion. I'm sure there's, and like we're just saying numbers, but like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like the way it's structured is obviously beneficial, and there's like a lot of upside, like if NFTs fail and all of that. But just like think about if it doesn't, and when it doesn't, like what Artifact is going to be.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, one of our colleagues was fudding it a little bit, but man, you think about it, 20,000 for probably arguably one of the largest global market basis. I mean, Nike is global. I mean, 20,000 is a drop in the bucket for the people that are going to be looking at this thing. Man, I don't want to pump or get too excited here, but this is definitely going to be one that's people are going to be proud to show as their PFP, regardless of how it started. I know there was some trepidation early on, but still a badass project. You're muted, Mally.
Kevin, thanks for the candor. It could be, the other side is like it's an incredibly volatile and risky purchase, right? Like ETH fluctuates, like all these other things. Like you could also think like, hey, if Nike offers these guys, 100, 500 million, like maybe that was it. My gut just says like this is just generational, and I think like think about how Takashi Murakami, just being associated with Artifact, it's all just completely insane. So like I won't say 10 billion. I think 10 billion is crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was lifetime
B.
value of a B.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Nike just came in, just stuck their flag and said, "Metaverse, we're here." It's big news.
Yeah, it's exciting too. Like it's like, we keep saying we're not as early. We're not as early. Well, like all of a sudden, and like I went and started Googling like, Nike artifact NFT, and like none of the, like, it's all the traditional media. It's crazy because like
Mainstream.
Hypebeast doesn't have an article on this yet. High Snobriety doesn't have an article on this yet. We do, obviously, but like then you look at the traditional press. All the traditional press has this. And the other thing to think about that we haven't even talked about yet is, we started seeing signs that the institutions were buying punks a while ago, and some of the institutions are buying apes. Like, it's logical that the institutions, if they're going to bet on the future of Nike, projects, like, that's they're going to start thinking about these as institutional holdings. And then, the other side is like when you think about finally, like, how many did Nike buy? So like if Nike signs a shoe deal with an athlete, hey, all of a sudden, hey, here, by the way, part of the shoe deal is this PFP that you get to make your profile picture. Like there's so many things about like kind of just this future phase and like digital ownership, and like I think Nike's playing the 20-year game with this. Like if you think of the digital ownership is here to stay, and you can think about the value that this, like being first, owning, and this is different than Adidas Originals buying an ape. This is like Nike buying, the studio that made this. So inherently, like they're all associated with that, whether people want it or not. And you think about just like those implications, like if Nike is the brand they are 20 years from now, and NFTs are as big as they are, these things are going to be like the OG pieces that like
the mainstream. It was the first time it became mainstream. Now I know some people argue a little bit with apes, but I'm talking like this is like a company came in and bought a brand that's just native to the cryptoverse. This is different. This is very different than apes. I mean, what this could do for Nike just as a marketing, I mean, it's hard to contextualize and put in words how big this really is going to be if like mainstream actually gets behind this thing and the price keeps going and people start building off, because all the stuff that doesn't have the Takashi drip, you can actually go out there and build around it. And what does that look like? Nike now owns this studio that put this PFP out there, and now they have all these open source developers building around the brand that they sunk money into. I mean, it's like we've never seen anything like this. This is going to be wild.
Yeah, my brain's not working right, but there was another deal that was going to be, and I forgot. I'm mad at myself for not remembering correctly, but there's something else that's going to happen at the Super Bowl that's going to just be massive. And if anyone in Nevin's Underground, shout out to Nevin's Underground, because I was talking about it in there and privately in one of our Discords. But there's going to be like this. The Super Bowl is going to have this big thing with NFTs, right? And like now you think about this, like, a Nike is going to put Artifact to work immediately. And then, so now think about this for a second. We have, Matt Damon with, I think he's doing crypto.com. You have Tom Brady talking about crypto every Sunday. Now, all of a sudden, we have the massive attention where people that don't even watch football are going to be watching every commercial that's coming out. We have Meta that is going to be doing their thing. We're going to have all these other, the Staples Center is now going to be the crypto.com center. And now we have like Nike, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm 100% certain that there will be some sort of Artifact commercial at the Super Bowl. 2022 is going to be the craziest year for NFTs. Like, I'm getting goosebumps and just getting fired up just thinking about it.
This is what I was talking about from Basil. The one thing that I took away from there, above all else, was we're early, but the money that is coming and the attention is growing, and it's growing fast. Somebody posted a question earlier, like what the main takeaway is where my mind goes is because I tend to be opportunistic. I start to think about some of Artifact's earlier drops with marquee artists. Like if Artifact as a brand starts taking off, it like exponentially makes those pieces, the early pieces, more valuable. So you almost start to, not financial advice, but I'm going to personally go take a look at them.
You
Some of
should
the
buy the
stuff.
Ferocious Artifact stuff.
Yep, yep. That's what popped in my mind first, right? You have two beautiful brands there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and look, I'm not the biggest fan of Nikes. Like I'm an Adidas guy through and through, right? I
Mhm.
love the Yeezy brand. I love the three stripes. Like that part of the culture for me was like what actually kind of got me into NFTs. But like the significance is massive, and people watching this later are probably going to make comments about like all of the like things that Nike is accused of, and like this video isn't necessary. I don't want to touch any of that, but I do want to acknowledge it for anyone that's watching. Like, yes, there are social things that have to. There's nuance to everything. Like, there's nuance to the environment. There's nuance to every piece of this. But just looking at this objectively without going into any of the morality or any of those types of issues, this is a massive, massive piece of news for the future of our space, and it's incredibly interesting. Like what can happen next, right? I think for a while, like now everyone's going to be playing catch up as quickly as they
Mm-hmm.
can, and
Yeah.
none of them are going to have the glamour or glitz of this.
No, so Nike's first. I mean, they really were. They picked up one of the biggest studios. I mean, how could another apparel brand counter this, right? What's I mean, Larva Labs maybe is up. I mean, somebody could pick them up. I mean, how do you compete with this level move that Nike's just made? I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I think the luxury brands have to move quick. I think the like there's gonna have to be like like the Louis Vuitton, the Gucci, those types of NFTs. We've talked about it a lot. Where you think about the you buy a Rolex, you're going to get an NFT with the same serial number of that. I think all that's like by 2023, that's all going to be common. Like it's just going to be like, oh, we always did POABs, we always did
Mm-hmm.
this. And then you think about like Artifact, like being able to put like wear Jordans in the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like both sides. Like you're going to be able to digitally flex, just
Mm-hmm.
like you're able to physically flex. It's going to be it's awesome.
This is such a brilliant move. We talk about this all. In fact, we talk about this when we do consulting. We talk about how building community is so important. Like because getting mainstream to come on board
I'm
is,
not on any of those consulting calls.
yeah, by the way, it's very difficult to get like your legacy base to come forward and be a part of it. And so what Artifact did was they said, let's just short circuit that. I'm sorry, what Nike did, let's take a brand that's already got a massive crypto following and join it with a mainstream brand. It was, I mean, it in hindsight, it's very obvious, but you know, it's you can't underscore how what a big brain move this was by Nike. I mean, yeah, I'm getting chills thinking about this thing. I really do think this has got legs. I don't want to be, you know, caught on camera and be the next Mal calling Yetis as the next apes, but this has got some legs.
Yeah, that one hurts. What
What
are we
else,
gonna do?
bro? What else, man? It's tough to, you know, I'm super excited, but with the floor just tanking in the crypto market, you know, that's the downer for it, but still.
You know what's really interesting about this is that like the like people are gonna view these as cheap. Like people are used to like the ape floor between 50 and 60 ETH at 4,000 to 4,500. I
Mhm.
think there's going to be some psychology here where people are going to be more willing to like when you think about the pairing of USD and ETH. I
Mhm.
think mentally this is going to have a lot of upside for the future ETH value
Mhm.
of this project in particular, because people are going to say like, oh wow, let's say ETH does fall to 3,000, heaven forbid, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden like 10 ETH is 30 grand. Like I think the psychology aspect of a lot of that is going to benefit this project. I still don't think it flips apes right now.
No. Mm-mm.
But like previously, I thought this was going to sit somewhere between like Meebits and Mutant Ape Yacht Club, like right between that 3 to 6 range. I think that this goes up because like once again, like the institutions, the athletes, like they don't really care about the mutants or the Meebits right now. They want the premier like de facto thing, and like this is that opportunity. So I just think, and then you also think about like all the other sports that Nike is in, right? Like there's just like baseball, football, basketball, like just like soccer. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I've said this before and I've got some flack for it, but I'm going to say it again. Part of what caused me to mint was all the vitriol after I saw a lot of passion behind the people wanting to mint the project. But not only that, it's basically what you said about, would you rather have, I think it was would you rather have a Meebit or a clone? Because I think the Meebit floor was at 4 ETH or something like that at the time, maybe a little higher. And I'm a big believer that, and I could be wrong, it's just my thought that these studios always have a top tier project. And so like, always felt like Meebits was like second class to punks. And I feel like mutants are always second class to Bored Apes. And people that are in those communities will always try to flip up to get a Bored Ape or a punk. And so the most value always accrues to, I think, the first drop in the studio. And so, I don't think this will be the last one, but I think it would have surprised me if it didn't do better than Meebits and mutants. So I kind of disagreed with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will, and it'll be interesting to see. I think I'm super excited. We should do another one of these tomorrow, kind of once the dust settles. I think I'm out of talking points. I have to go cook some hamburgers for the boys.
Okay, all right. Well, let me just cry one time here on stream. I wanted to get a hoodie, but flew out of my range. Got all the way down to 6 ETH, and now it flew up, man. So
I was trying to flip up too because I
wanted
had
a hoodie one so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but the other good thing is like these are all pretty good looking NFTs. Like all of them, like pretty consistent, pretty solid. The last question, real quick, King, like. I think that once again, if you came in a little bit late, like it's exciting that Adidas Originals is partnering with Bored Ape Yacht Club, but like I think Nike buying the studio is just a bigger deal from a social signal. It's going to be massive, but yeah. So like, there's probably going to be a lot of new folks that are tuning in to this. Like follow us on niftyculture.com, nftculture.com, at NFT Culture on Twitter. We got 20,000 subscribers, obviously 6,000 on YouTube. A lot of y'all are probably watching this live on Twitter. We also have a private community token. We don't talk about it that much. Less than 10% of the supply is for sale, so pretty solid. And the floor is down right now, but it's a great way to come join our community. It's a good way to learn about these projects. It's a good way to meet a lot of new folks. We're incredibly proud of the community that we've built and are building, and the action and activity in there is phenomenal. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that is a part of our community, because it's been a real pleasure getting to know so many of you. And we're early, but this is a real strong sign for what's to happen. John, any parting thoughts?
We're still early. Still early.
Yeah.
All
right. Everyone take care. Have a good one. See ya.